Instead of a pleasant dream, you find yourself in
I like that. She was very lit though. I like artists. I like people that like, you know, they just lit as fuck. You feel me?
Do you stand a chance against him?
Oh nah, yo, I'll fucking die with. I can't. I will not go toe to toe with Freddy Krueger, yo. Cause he not even human at that point, yo.
Normal family man with a loving family. Though under this secret facade, he was a
Hell,
depraved
that was a lit moment though. I fucked that.
of his former classmates, all of whom had taunted and ridiculed him throughout school, making his life hell. Torturing and killing the children, he spread their remains throughout town and became known as the Springwood Slasher. Eventually, he was caught by the police, though a faulty arrest warrant saw him released on a technicality. The town took justice into their own hands and burned Freddy alive in his boiler room. Though as he succumbed to
Have you guys seen the movie, yo? That was OD though, the movie though.
Who offered him the power to stalk and kill through dreams. Accepting, Freddy became a dream demon himself, empowered by fear and gaining power by absorbing the souls of his victims. So, say you find yourself face to face in the middle of a nightmare with the fabled dream demon Freddy Krueger. How could you defeat him?
Nah, you can't defeat Freddy, yo.
Remain awake as long as possible, as Freddy is powerless in the real world and can only strike at you from within your own dreams. One good way to stop yourself from falling asleep is the use of amphetamines such as Adderall or speed.
But then eventually you have to sleep though, you feel me?
Messages traveling between the brain and body, and taken in large doses, have the side effect of making it very difficult to go to sleep while retaining a decent amount of energy. If illegal drugs aren't your thing, you can try legal drugs such as modafinil.
But like how they're really trying to educate you on like seriously how to kill Freddy Krueger, yo.
Can lead to irregular heartbeat and seizures, and staying awake
they tell you the pros and cons. You take drugs, you do this, you can eat something.
Depression, hallucinations, and even psychosis. So, you're staying awake via a steady stream of caffeine pills or a few hits of amphetamines every few hours. What now? Well, your first tactic could be to try to
see that. I like that though. I really like that. I really like the videos.
As Freddy still has the soul of a man, he is technically being possessed by the dream demons, and as such, vulnerable to a rite of exorcism. It's not as easy as just sprinkling some holy water on a bunch of burnt bones though. Due to a rise in the demand for exorcisms in recent years, the Vatican recently held a week-long conference to address the rising tide of exorcisms and discuss concerns over the uneven skills of the Vatican's current exorcists.
Yo, this bitch just smacked him in the face. I'm weak.
Apprentice under an experienced exorcist, and the risks of conducting an exorcism while unprepared can be dire. Perhaps, though, you can use the threat of exorcism to lure Freddy into the real world. As a dream demon, Freddy has no more power in the real world than you do, and luring him into reality or forcing him into it will completely take away his powers.
Word?
Be warned, he may not have
I watch
PH
PH to make me feel loved again. PH, who's PH?
Full of razor-sharp knives. You can try and take Freddy out one-on-one with some karate
Got you,
skills,
bro.
but we recommend instead something far simpler. A Smith & Wesson Model 629. Armed with a 44 Magnum round, the 629 is a highly portable and extremely powerful sidearm carried by many American hunters for self-defense.
No, you're like 14. You're like kind of like too young to be like watching that.
Wide, simply follow the old shooter's adage: 2 in the chest and 1 in the head, and Freddy will be no more. But suppose you accidentally fell asleep and Freddy lured you into one of his signature nightmares. What then? The best and simplest defense against Freddy is actually quite simple. Don't be afraid of him. As a dream demon, Freddy is unable to harm his victims without first cultivating an aura of fear.
Oh, nah,
Freddy accomplishes this by haunting his subjects for weeks, gradually building a sense of dread within them that empowers him. Once the fear
it's just Gen Z, you feel me? I guess.
So your best defense is to simply not be afraid of him. The best way to overcome your fear is 6 tricks used by military veterans around the world. Number 6, prepare and practice. By mentally preparing yourself for your confrontation with Freddy, you can diminish the fear once it actually goes down. Per U.S. Navy SEAL Platoon Commander James Waters, Navy SEALs spend 75% of their time training for a deployment and 25% of their time on the actual
deployment. Yo, this man is very knowledgeable on his shit, yo. I never met a man that knows his shit, yo.
Into a state of preparedness, greatly reducing fear. Number 5, laugh. A Stanford University study revealed that people who were trained to make jokes in response to disturbing images dealt with them in a much better way than those who didn't. Laughing can also release feel-good chemicals such as endorphins in the brain, further lightening the mood and decreasing the fear.
Yo, bro, I never like the thing in this video, yo, they're very informative on how they make everything, to be honest.
With a racing heart, and pouring sweat. You can fight these physical manifestations by lapsing into a pattern of very deep breaths. Inhale for 4 seconds and exhale for 4 seconds, calming your nervous system and putting you back in control. Number 3, voice in your head. We've all experienced the nagging voice of doubt deep in our brains during stressful times. In moments of fear, that voice can become amplified and completely override your own thinking. Tell it to shut up. Mentally shout over these thoughts like many soldiers who shout words like faster to themselves in order to shift their focus from the fear.
And there's in chat. I think most of everybody here an editor that do like street like posting YouTube videos. No Blazes one. I'm one. Zodak one.
So picture Freddy ripping your guts out. Imagine what it would feel like to have those 6-inch long blades.
But why are you asking, lovely?
Flesh. And then, when the time comes to actually confront him, you'll
Got you,
find
bro.
that the fear you're facing is kind of familiar and easier to overcome. Number 1, push your comfort zone. Fear typically comes from experiencing the unknown.
Hey, what's good, Sug? How you been doing, Brody? It just finished editing. I'm rendering it right now.
Unknown and dangerous circumstances. Just like exposure therapy can combat phobias, exposing yourself to more and more
My
scary
gotcha
things
bullshit.
actually lessen the effect that
I feel like
fear
you
from
should
any
try to find an
source
editor that
can
knows how to
have.
make
So,
gotcha.
you're
You
not
feel me?
afraid
That's
of
your
Freddy
preference
anymore.
instead of
Perfect.
grabbing
Now
a
you're
random
control
editor.
the
That's the
dream.
reason what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get an editor that has around my taste on like what I want, like see how they make videos, and then you know if I like them, then we'll talk about like editing for my video.
Still recommend the Smith & Wesson. So, how would you defeat Freddy? Have any tips on
It was more like a
overcoming
fun. I'm
fear?
weak,
Let us know your
bro.
thoughts in the comments. Also, be sure to
Good,
check out
I've been
our
doing
video
good, Brody.
called
Just came back from a good trip.